Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today TV. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me Shail Bhatnagar, editor for markets on Business Today TV. Well, the Indian equity markets have continued their northbound journey for the fifth consecutive session. We will be focusing on a whole host of important data points today to find out where exactly should you be putting in your money to make maximum profits in equities. But first up, the quick headlines for the day. Strong cues from Wall Street, and we are looking at another day, weekly expiry today. So we are going to be focusing on a whole host of data points that will move the markets today. Investors keep an eye out on the first quarterly earnings, and also, of course, HUL, Infosys, all will be important key data points to watch out for. Of course, the day will also begin with Reliance Industries in focus as the Jio Financial demerger record date is today, and the first hour pre-open session from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. will determine the price discovery for Reliance Industries ahead of the demerger. Very good morning, Shail, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. So 5 days in a row, we've been looking at markets consecutively hitting record high levels, just 170 points away from that 20,000 mark. What are you watching out for the Nifty today?
Well, Sakshi, good morning, and hello to everyone who's watching us. Well, today is the weekly expiry, Sakshi, and that's the most important event that is likely to gain the most important traction. Secondly, we'll have a special session for Reliance Industries Limited for the value unlocking of Jio Financial Services, as also its price. Remember, the ratio is 1:1. And these two important events, apart from the earnings of Infosys, will determine the fate of Nifty from now on. As you very rightly say, it's just about 170 points off from the most psychologically awaited point, which is 20,000, already a record high in the market. And you rightly said 5 days of rallies, but the rally is a bit deeper. If you see, it's about 17 days out of 22 that we've seen green on the index, and that's what is driving the market. All cues remain positive, and that's what we are looking for so far. If you see the options data, 19,900 appears to be a huge resistance, but that is still about 67 points away. As also 19,800 is a pretty strong support that we see, and that's what is the options data telling us. The momentum remains on the long side, Sakshi. The Nifty is trading even above its five-day exponential EMA, and that is, something to be happy about. Foreigners are actually buying Hellmill, and at the moment we see a very strong traction coming in. Not only is the data positive for yesterday, but overall in the month of July, about 18,000 crore rupees worth of Indian equities has been purchased by foreigners. That's a very big positive. And if you look at how the last 5 sessions have panned out, as you rightly say, they have been in the green. The Nifty is up 1.9%, and the Bank Nifty is up 2.1%. So that's what I am looking at. A fairly reasonable trade. I don't think so you should be doing anything for the first 60 minutes because the Reliance price will settle down, and then we'll decide what to do with the Nifty, Sakshi.
Absolutely, Shell. And what about the Nifty Bank? You clearly talked about how Nifty Bank was your clear focus in yesterday's trading session. And we have seen out of the last 5 trading sessions, the Nifty Bank has gained for the 4 sessions, gaining about 1,000 odd points right there. So we have the level of 45,500 also on the Nifty Bank. Will that continue the momentum? We saw PSU banks really leading fantastically yesterday.
Well, Sakshi, as you rightly say, 1,000 points or 2.1% gain in the Nifty Bank over the last 5 trading sessions. My feeling is that banks are sluggish. No matter what the good news, nothing is moving. Uh, there is a toppish activity that you see in ICICI Bank. It was at a record high. It's just not moving up. If you see Axis Bank, it's also sluggish. HDFC Bank, well, we saw some momentum, but again, we see some kind of selling pressure happening there. But you know, uh, I would rather watch what Infosys does, because that will determine the fate of Nifty. Remember, Infosys declares its earnings today, and we'll be doing a deep dive into those numbers.
Sure.
What is really interesting is that Infosys is the top gaining counter on the Nifty,
Yeah.
up 7.7% over the last five trading sessions.
Hmm.
And my fear, Sakshi, is that a less than mediocre earnings from Infosys will trigger the much awaited correction that we are looking for in the market, and that's good. But let's see. We've seen mediocre, less than mediocre earnings being appreciated by the market because we are in a huge bull curve, and that is probably what will happen on Infosys as well. So the psychological 20,000 mark remains on the radar. We have one trading session today, one tomorrow, and probably you'll see 20.
Okay. Very important cues, especially as far as the weekly options expiry is also concerned. So the eyes will be on the FNO space as well, Shell. Your thoughts here?
Well, Sakshi, the FNO space is completely in control of bulls. Now, what is really interesting is that a lot of old world favorites are coming back in action. We've discussed Infosys, of course. We've discussed a whole host of cement counters. It's the blowback from the old world, at least that I started tracking in the 1990s. So you have counters like NTPC. NTPC is doing amazingly well when it comes to the broader market. It's at a multi-decade high. So the last time we saw such prices was somewhere in the 2007 2008 zone. At the moment, 193. Very strong traction on open interest, up about 4.5%. And of course, forget 52-week highs, but 15, 16-year highs coming on NTPC. It's also India's largest producer of electrical power, thermal power, and we know how demand is skyrocketing. So, a very bullish phase on NTPC coming up. The lot size is 3,000, and the price was about 193, up about 2.8%.
Hmm.
Then I'm looking at PNB. These are all low ticket
Yeah.
items, Sakshi. And look at how it was the top performing stock in the banking FNO space yesterday, 4%
Yeah.
higher at 64.35. Again, multi-year highs on PNB, and yet the stock is trading, at zero point 0.6 times its book value, which is about 100 rupees. So at 64, fundamentally and technically, it looks very strong. Open interest is
Hmm.
up 4.5%,
Sure.
and very strong volume on PNB. The other stocks in this space, of course, which we'll discuss a bit later, are Canfin Homes and L&T Finance.
Yeah.
Very strong earnings coming in from both these players. And Canfin Homes, of course, record high 822. Let's see how it reacts. So these are the counters that we are looking at. But why only listen to us? We have Mr. Uh, we have Sakshi.
Yeah,
Could you just
absolutely. Shell, so we will get to our expert in a bit, but we also have Akansha Chaturvedi joining right in. And you did talk about Canfin Homes. There are brokerage houses that have come out with the reports on Canfin Homes as well. So, Akansha, why don't you talk about that?
spectacular result, and that's what brokerage houses are also saying. They're also positive on this stock. If I talk about uh, Jeffries on Canfin Home, the current market price is around 820 rupees, but Jeffries has asked people and they have given a buy uh, rating for this stock. They've said that the target price should be set around 850 rupees. And like Shelsa said, this is based on their spectacular results. Their Q1 PAT was 7% up. This was due to better than expected NIM. And the loans of the company also grew 18% year on year, led by 14% growth in disbursements. And all these factors, the fact that their credit cost fell 14 bps QOQ, all these factors have actually made the stock more, uh, the stock has become more lucrative when uh, these companies are looking at them. We have another Morgan Stanley also has a report on Canfin Homes. They've given the target. They say that the PAT has beaten the estimates by 9%, and this is why the stock seems to be more lucrative in the markets right now. Back to you, Sakshi.
All right, 818, 2.5% up. We will continue to watch out for Canfin Homes also today. Let's also take a look at how the global markets have given us a handover for today. We did see the blue chip Dow Jones Industrial Average extending its winning streak to the 8th session, the longest ever rally since September 2019. So very strong cues coming in from that front. S&P 500 rising for third day. Nasdaq heavy 100 index also ended marginally higher in trade. Of course, the futures are something that we are watching out for. A lot of heavyweight earnings that have put some pressure on the futures, US futures, especially the kind of laggard action we saw in Netflix, Tesla numbers, Goldman Sachs, those are the numbers that disappointed. So that will continue to be an overhang. The Asian markets open mixed with a cautious trading, of course. And the GIFT Nifty also indicates a muted start to the session as well. But the FII flows continue to remain strong, buying for the fifth day in a row as well. So the FPIs have bought worth about 1165 odd crore rupees. DIIs, however, remain net sellers, and they've offloaded stocks about 2134 crores in the Indian markets. Shail, anything from the global cues that one should watch out for today?
Sakshi, as you rightly mentioned, there was the eighth positive session on Dow, and we've repeatedly said that now there is no soft landing happening. There is no landing happening, in fact. Hard or soft, forget about it. There are no recessions coming in the US economy. The earnings momentum that started from bigger banks is now spread to Amazon, it's spread to Tesla, United Airlines, Goldman Sachs. All these earnings that came over yesterday point to only one thing: a very, very strong and robust move that is happening on Dow. We've seen rallies worth 8 days, but now is a phase of consolidation. And whatever cues that are coming in from Wall Street are very thankfully accepted by Dalal
Yeah.
Street. And from Dalal Street, we have Vineet Bulinchkar, Head of Research at Ventura Securities, joining us. As also in a little while, we'll have Mr. Mileen Vasudev. He's the Senior Technical Research Analyst at Arihant Capital Markets, who will join us in a bit. But first to Vineet. Good morning, Vineet. Welcome to Business Today Television. It's a great, great session that we've seen in July so far. No complaints uh, that the Bulls can file against the Bears. What is your state of mind, and how do you see markets panning out from here on? Today's the weekly expiry, and we have about 8 sessions left in July.
So I believe that this rally will sustain and it should continue to gather moss. And since the results season is playing out, I believe that the results season is going to be full of earning surprises. A lot of funds are sitting on cash. I will see them getting deployed into the markets because of the FOMO.
Yeah.
And there will be a lot of churning also because, where they have sold out, uh, they will not be buying those counters again and they'll be buying new counters. And there are a number of stocks in the mid cap and the small cap space which have got significant legs, massive earnings growth, and huge potential over the next 4 to 5 years. So we are very bullish on the markets. We continue to be bullish, and we expect the index to scale past 20,000, and hopefully by Diwali we should be around 20,500 to 20,800. That is another 1,000 points higher.
Okay. Well, Vineet, also the key important point to discuss today will be Reliance Industries. The record date for the Geo Financial Services demerger is today, and we have this special pre-open session for 1 hour from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Where the price discovery will happen for RIL. Help our viewers understand what should they be doing. The normal trading will begin at 10 a.m. for Reliance Industries. So what should be the strategy today on RIL?
So I believe that you should wait for the price discovery to happen and then get into the stock, because you don't want to quote higher and get uh, stranded out there. So I believe that once the price is settled, that is the time to enter into it, and we are going to see a very strong trend play out in terms of geo financial services over the next few years.
Vineet, what are the one or two stocks that you feel investors can lap up even at these levels? Of course, we are at a record high, and the rally that has unfolded in front of us has stretched valuations across the board. But anything that you find worthwhile at current levels, which investors or viewers can at least take a look, if not buy immediately, or buy in steps?
So, we like LT foods. If you see the Ukraine crisis, there is definitely wheat is going to be in shortage, or the wheat prices are going to go up because the situation is conflagrating. And basmati rice exports are going to find good markets. Uh, Pakistan is also financially compromised. So we believe that India will gain from market share gains as well as from you know the prices firming up. Over the last years the prices have been firm, trends have been strong. And if you see, LT foods is foraying into also other segments like convenience foods and into rice snacks. So I think that's a very young segment, fledgling segment. They are carving out a niche for themselves in the snacks market. And I believe that the story of unorganized to organized in the packaged foods business has a very long way to go. If you see, the retail staple space is about a 10 lakh crore market with just a 10-12% penetration. So the next 10 years it is expected that this trend could reverse to 90 organized and 10% unorganized. So this is a humongous segment, and people participating in the space with strong business models will do well. LT Foods is one of them. We think that over the next couple of years, you will get a price of around 230 in this stock.
Okay. Vineet, let's take your views on some of the earnings that came after the market hours yesterday. Tata Communications reported 30% decline on the consolidated profit front, and the net profit was impacted by higher interest costs and lower forex gains. However, the total revenue stood at 4771 crores. That's up about 10%. Now, the share was up about 1% at 1618 yesterday. And another Tata Group stock. So let's discuss both of these. Tata Coffee, that reported a 5% fall in consolidated net profit at 62 odd crore rupees. The income, however, rose at 707 crore rupees. How do you look at these two Tata Group stocks?
So I think they can be avoided for the time being. The reason being that the coffee market, the demand is global demand for coffee is quite bearish. Secondly, if you look at Tata Communications, also there is significant price erosion in their traditional commodity business, and hence I would advise investors to book profits and stay away from these counters at least until the scenario changes for the better.
Vineet, how are you looking at the broader markets as of now? You mentioned L&T Foods as one of your picks. Anything that catches your interest in the PSU banking space? We have a strong feeling of under ownership, which is now getting reflected in the price, given the rally that you see on at least marquee brands owned by the government. Uh, is there anything that you find interesting in the PSU banking pack?
So we like SBI and we like Bank of Maharashtra. Yesterday, Bank of Maharashtra came out with spellbounding results. They are very much in line with our expectations. And we believe that both these banks will do very well. We have a target of around 1,000 bucks on SBI. Our confidence here comes out from the fact that it's return on equity is comparable to all the private banks. And if you see their return on assets or their operating efficiency is at all-time lows. So it's just 1.1, whereas the return on assets of private banks, don't have much room for operating leverage. And if you see the business per se of banking is getting pretty commoditized. So there's nothing special that any bank offers from the other. So we believe that PSU Bank, SBI, which trades at 1.1 time book FY26, should deservedly be trading at about 1.7 times. So, we are looking at a 50% upside. And if you see all its subsidiaries, be it SBI Mutual, SBI Cards, SBI Life, they're all doing fantastic, clocking growth of more than 20%. And we think that this business will grow well. Coming back to Bank of Maharashtra, we believe that the stock is purely held back, because the bank is anticipating to do a follow-on public offer, but they have never got to uh, announce it. So that remains a lag on the stock. But apart from that, if you see 52% CASA ratio, 25% advances growth, and 1,000 crores of excess provisioning, means that NPAs are more than provided for. And so we think that this stock deserves a rating of at least 1.5 times price to book. And we have a target of 58 to $60 on this stock.
Okay. Extending this discussion to the NBFC space, Vineet, on L&T Finance Holdings, how do you, read the earnings? It reported a 103% rise in the net profits to 531 crores yesterday on a year-on-year basis. The retail book has grown 34% in Q1. The asset quality has also improved for L&T Finance. We have an Morgan Stanley report on the company after the earnings. They have maintained an equal weight rating with a target price of 105. However, so this is lower than the current market price of 133. What do you think is kind of cautioning the brokerage houses here?
No, I think it's the way their business model has performed. If you see over the last few years, the business model has been quite, tumultuous, the performance. They've sold a number of businesses and, you know, it has been struggling for direction. However, right now, we believe that they're trying to get their foothold going. And I think the caution purely stems from the fact is that whether they will sustain this kind of performance. Once they're able to maintain this kind of performance, I think the re-rating of the stock will happen. But until then, I think it's surely a hold.
Okay. Vineet, would you like to sort of comment on how the trajectory is likely to be in IT stocks? We've seen mediocre performances from HCL Tech, TCS, and Wipro. Yet, being in a bull market, the market has rewarded them handsomely. Infosys reports today. Do you think the entire pain in the sector is baked into the price, or do you see some outperformances coming in over the next a quarter or so, especially in large caps? And maybe if you could discuss a good mid cap pick from the IT sector.
So, we have a slightly contra view on the IT sector. We believe that advances in IT, especially in large language models, artificial intelligence, machine learnings, are going to prey very heavily on the outsourcing models of these companies. So, unless their models don't transition rapidly, we believe that they will be high risk candidates going out over the next couple of years. And consequent to the fact that they've done very well, we continue to have a cautious view out here because we believe that the business models need to change rapidly, as I reiterated earlier. And until such time that happens, we are very happy and gung ho being invested in the domestic themes which offer you equal or even better opportunities. So for me, the IT space is one segment which I would like to avoid.
Would you also, avoid stocks like Newgen Software despite, the company reporting robust earnings yesterday? We have seen a 57% rise in the profitability to 30 odd crore rupees from the mid-cap IT space. Jefferies has given a buy rating with the target price which has increased to 860 now on the stock. There's a Q1 beat with a 34% revenue growth also being a key highlight right there. And the stock hit a record high, yesterday. Your thoughts?
See, as I said, it's an avoid, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't become a long-term stock in your portfolio. Short-term trading picks, you can play swings in these stocks for 15 to 20% gains, and have tight stop losses and let the profits trail. So I believe that stocks like Newgen, which are product companies, should do relatively better than the service offering companies, and I would purely classify it as a tactical buy call.
Vineet, you spent now more than 2 decades in the market. We've seen a very, very sharp erosion in confidence when it comes to the pharma space over the last 3, 4 years. Although some bit of pharma is returning back into the buying lists of, ultra HNIs, or maybe those people who buy pain and then hold it up for a longer period of time. Anything that catches your fancy in mid-cap pharma?
We like Natco Pharma. That is one stock that we are tracking. However, we are not going completely gung ho on the pharma space as of now. See, again, there's the dollar issue, which similarly plagues the IT industry. So we would like to be a little bit cautious out here. But one stock that we like is, as I said, Natco Pharma.
Okay. Anything in the diagnostic space that interests you? We've seen IPCA Laboratories, on the brokerage house's radar. Nomura has given a neutral rating right here with a target price of 866, much higher than the current price of 790 odd right there. They do believe while there are near-term earnings risks to the consensus estimates, however, they expect improvement in the EBITDA margins from the low base of FY23.
So, when you call out risks and then you give a upside target, I would like to not participate in the story. As I said, there are far, far better, trading plays in the market. So I would just be on the sidelines of that.
Okay.
So, coming back to the top two picks that Vineet has discussed with us, one is, of course, LT Foods. We know it by a better name, which is Dawat. As people who shop for their kitchen will let you know that rice prices in India have escalated by about 20 to 25% over the last 5, 6 months. And this carnage that we saw on the monsoon side is also likely to impact the acreage. Vineet, tapping your brains back on LT, where do you see this stock headed, say, a year from now? It's 154, up 4% yesterday.
So I think over the next 18 months, I think the stock will be anywhere around 230 bucks, which is about 50% higher from here. So we are quite positive on this stock.
Okay, and there is one word of caution that I'd like to put in. The screen that you see in front of you, the price has shot up for 5 successive days. So, for those who are trying to buy this for their portfolio, should be a little careful. Let it sort of stabilize a bit, let it correct a bit, only then get into it and buy it in small lots. Coming back to Bank of Maharashtra, huge headroom here because we've seen an all-time high of about 85.90 that happened in 2011. And if you see on a daily basis, the stock is up 4 days in a row. Its highest levels that we've seen since 15th of December 2022. So about 6, 7 month high. Of course, a very, very smart traction coming in here. Uh, Vineet, what would be a nice medium-term, long-term projection for Bank of Maharashtra?
As I told you earlier, I think that over the next 18 to 24 months, this stock can double from these levels. Uh, we are a little bullish on this stock out of consensus, and our reasoning, as I said, stems from the fact that the bank is got 1,000 crores of provisioning and prudential norms of lending, 25% CAGR growth, 52% CASA. and very stable cost to income, and ROEs and ROA is expanding. And as they spend and as they build business in the, as they call it, the RAM space, retail, agriculture, and MSME space, I believe that the margin should also perk up. So we'll see some very, very strong profit growth play out over the next few years. You'll get nice operating leverage, and hence we are very confident that this bank will.
Okay, so just a minute before we pre-open, quickly your take on Infosys, Vineet, before the earnings, what should be investor strategy today?
So I think just I wouldn't want to bell the cat before the earnings are out. Just wait for the numbers to come, because you never know. You might have a slam dunk of a soft quarter. So I would just want to play this out by the year.
Shell?
Yes, actually. So I'm just trying to figure out a couple of software here. Yes, the first ticks are here on the index, Sakshi. I just saw a brief 19 and 900 on the index. Now it's settling about at 19 820. There's a special session that's going on for the price discovery of Geo Financial Services. So we'll wait for the initial ticks on Reliance to settle down. Nifty again is 15 points higher at 19,852. Let's look at the top gainers in Nifty. IndusInd Bank, fantastic numbers. Earnings continue to drive the stock, now up for the third day in a row, 0.75% higher, 1430. NTPC, as I had mentioned, a very strong breakout yesterday. The rally now is about a percent higher, 194.20. Titan up 0.3%, 3,000. TCS up 0.2%, 34.76. Let's look at stocks in the FNO space, which are fairly in strong momentum. Let's look at top gainers. It's L&T Finance, very, very strong earnings coming in. Top gainer here, up about 5.5%, 141. Then we have Muthoot Finance up 1.7, 1314. Strong traction coming in on L&T Technology Services. Remember, they came out with a fantastic set of earnings, and the stock is in very, very strong traction on the long side. City Union Bank up 4.8%, 131. Voltas, second day of gains, third day of gains actually, 783, up 4.7%. Let's look at the most active counters. Reliance still in a flux, down about 5.8%, 2650. Remember, a part of this will be taken out and taken as the actual value of Geo Financial Services. So that demerger is what that is working out. Apart from that, Shree Cement in a bit of a pain, the company facing some probe from tax authorities, 23,800. Let's look at the broader markets. A fairly strong traction that we see again, L&T Finance up 5%, 140. Patanjali is up 2.5%, 1358. We have a strong traction coming in on SGVN. Remember, this is at a record high. Government hydropower company, 1% higher, 49.20. And we have a strong traction coming in on UCO and central banks. Let's look at Maharashtra Bank, 1% higher, 33.60. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Well, let's look at Equitas Small Finance Bank. There are updates that DSP Mutual Fund and other entities have sold about 35 lakh shares of 0.32% stake in the open market. So the holding has reduced right there. That's shown slight uptake of 0.42% higher at 96.6 at this point in time. Let's also look at Dr. Reddy's, for example. The US FDA did clear the API unit in Hyderabad without any observations right there. So 1% up at 52.72. Let's also look at Federal Bank that opened its QIP yesterday. That should show some kind of a movement. The floor price was 132 rupees. So Federal Bank, that's another stock that should be coming up on your screen. So 0.9% up at 137. Again, Canfin Homes, we already discussed the brokerage houses reports after the earnings. The net profit came in above expectations, so that is showing some uptake again, 0.8% of an uptake, 825 right there. Apart from this, let's look at Tata Communications. The revenue had risen about 4% odd, and the profit jumped about 17% for this one. And the stock is down about 0.5% lower at 1610. Vineet also said an avoid on this stock right there. Hudson Agro, let's look at that stock too. Remember again, earnings impact should be seen here. The gross margins rose about 30 basis points for this one. 7.5% at 1050. That's the stock to keep an eye out on when the markets open as well. Anything else, Shail?
Yes, Sakshi. Infosys is flat as it can be ahead of earnings, and Vineet very rightly said, let the earnings come and then we'll take a call. 1474, no movement at all. Hindustan Unilever, again, an earnings candidate, 2671, no move at all. So the market is really, really cautious, Sakshi. We had seen the index close fairly close to its intraday high yesterday, the intraday high being 19,850, and the close was 19,833. It's again at the same place, 19,826. My assumption is that the first hour of trade, unless you have the price discovery on Reliance Industries, everybody will be on sideways trend. As also we have the weekly Thursday expiry. So it's going to be a quiet first hour for Reliance, for Infosys, for the Nifty, and for all of us. But like I said, our job is to ask tough questions, and it's an equally tougher job for Vineet to answer them. Vineet,
Right.
what catches your eye in the pre-open trade?
Pardon me?
I'm saying anything that catches your eye in the pre-open trade.
Not really. I
Okay.
think Dr. Reddy's is something that I am biased towards, so that can be a good buy.
Okay. Right.
Okay, let us drill down Dr. Reddy's for you. Of course, 0.5% higher. The PCR firing that shot, 52.49. I would presume this is a fresh 52-week high. We'll analyze the charts a little later. Anything that you are looking at, Sakshi?
Let's look at Reliance Industries again, Shell. Right now, 2691, 5.25% down in trade, about 190 rupees odd. So it's now 2650 coming in on the screen as well. So let's continue to watch out for this space. It will be very important for all the investors to keep an eye out on this stock. It's right now. So don't be afraid with the kind of adjustments that you're seeing right here. The normal trading will begin only at 10 a.m. Right now, you're seeing just the price discovery happening on Reliance Industries. So keep an eye out on that as well. Let's look at some of the other stocks like Shree Cement, for example. That received observations from the Ministry of Corporate Affairs as well. That gets a letter for inspection. That stock should show some kind of an impact of that news flow. Electra Green, that's awarded a contract to the holding company for 395 odd crore rupees. That stock should be on the watch list too. Let's also look at transformers and rectifiers. Here, Getco has sent a letter saying that they will be stopping to deal with the company for 3 years again. That stock, so that's reflecting 15.3% down at 90.65 at this point in time. These are the stocks that I've been watching. Shell, anything else?
Yes, Sakshi, I think the most important event on the day would be the earnings of Infosys. We have
Yeah.
Akanksha. Let's see what the preview holds for this stock, already up 7.5%, and the top performer for Nifty over the last 1 week. Akanksha, over to you.
Yeah, that's right. Although flat right now, Infosys has been the biggest gainer in the IT rally in the past few weeks. Like Shelter said, despite muted results, the markets have really embraced the IT pact. Talking about what brokerages think about the Q1 results, which is expected today. As per an average of 8 brokerage estimates, the company can post a net profit of over 6,000 crores for Q1, which would be up 16% from the year ago. Sequentially, this could be 2% higher, much better than the 3 to 1% slide in net profits of TCS, HCL Tech, and Wipro, other IT peers of Infosys. Two brokerage firms, Jefferies and Motilal Oswal, expect the constant currency revenue guidance to be slightly revised lower, up to 100 basis points from the upper end. We need to keep close track on the company's commentary on demand, large deal wins, and the pipeline. Outlook for the communications and banking verticals, margin levers, and impact on discretionary spending will also be tracked here on market today. The stock is up over 13% since the beginning of this year. Sorry, this month, I'm sorry. And it's doing far better than its peers. And it's also worth noting that three other IT companies, Persistent Systems, Coforge, and Emphasis, will also be sharing their Q1 earnings today. Back to you, Sakshi.
Right. Thanks a lot, Akansha, for giving us all those updates. So definitely we'll be keeping an eye out on the Infosys earnings, and that will also be important to watch out for in the context of the earlier earnings that we've seen from TCS, HCL Tech, Wipro, all of them as well. Vineet, which is the sector that you will be watching out for today?
I think I'll be watching out for textile stocks. We believe that there are strong trends emerging, early signs yet, but you need to track volumes, and I believe that that sector can do well.
Okay. Um,
Okay, ladies
anything
and
else?
gentlemen, let's wait for Mileen Vasudev to give you a nice drawdown on what technicals are likely to be for today's trade. But the pre-open is now settled, and predictably, it being the weekly expiry day and a lot of heavy events lying heavy on a record high, the Nifty settled flat. 19,831, down about 2 points over yesterday's close. Remember, over the last five trading sessions, you have seen lots of gap ups, but today being a very heavy event day, the Nifty is also relaxing a bit, a neutral trend day accepted. So, Reliance, the first hour will be crucial. Remember, we are having a price discovery both for Reliance as also for its unit Geo Financial Services, which will be demerged from Reliance Industries. So, Reliance, if you see a downtick, don't be worried as to why this price is acting the way it is. That's one reason. The other being, of course, earnings of Infosys. Both stocks are flat, and so is the Nifty. Sakshi, what else have you looked at?
Let's look at Polycab. Shell, we've been watching out for this stock for many days now, at highs also, and it's showing a bullish setup as well. It's on the brokerage house's radar as well. We've seen, along with Polycab, Havells also move yesterday ahead of its earnings. It is slated to report its earnings again today. Vineet, what would you be watching out for in these special, companies which deal with electrical wires, compliances, in appliances in the consumer durable space especially?
So a couple of things we'll be watching is the volume growth and the gross margins. These are a couple of things that we'll be tracking. So if they are in line, uh, giving good growth numbers, then we'll be sustaining our buys in these sectors.
So between both of these, which one would you prefer, Polycab or
I
Havells
I
at this
would
current levels?
I would definitely go with Polycab. Polycab has got very strong growth measures. They are looking at getting into the B2B space. They've identified close to 50 odd white spaces which they want to populate. So the growth story in Polycab is very, very intact. So we like that.
Okay. Let's look at some other prices. If we can have two stocks. Federal Bank, both weekly and daily high. I think it's settled somewhere like 138. Yes, and Vineet has already given his indication that he likes the stock. This is of course a record high. Remember, a QIP is open for this particular stock. That's doing pretty well. And of course, the other one being another PSU bank, Union Bank, monthly high, weekly high at about 85.50. Anything that catches your fancy on Union Bank, Vineet?
It's a secular story across all PSU banks. Their asset quality is best in class now, number one. And the question is whether they can sustain this asset quality. So, what we have seen from, the results declared by Federal Bank and Bank of Maharashtra, it seems that all these banks are likely to do well. So I believe that this same theme will play out where the ROEs are on par with all the private banks. The ROAs are compressed So, we are going to see operating efficiency kick in, and all these banks should do well. So, you had to pick your poison, stick with it, and just be patient. I think that you'll be amply rewarded with these stocks.
All
Okay,
right.
let me show you other PSU banking prices which are opening in the green. So you might have a flat Nifty bank, but strong traction coming in there. UCO Bank 2580 in the green, to 0.2% higher. Central Bank 3125, 0.2% higher. PNB, of course, steals the show, 0.2% higher, 6430. Remember, these are all pre-open rates. And Bank of Maharashtra, which is again the favorite of Vineet and his top pick today, is also opening fairly strongly at about 34, 34, 30. L&T Finance Holdings is again the top gainer in the NSE 500 broader index, as also in the FNO space. Okay,
Right.
let's look at prices. We have an uptick that's coming in on the Nifty, 4 points higher, 19,837. Weekly expiry, heavy event day, flat opening as of now. Let's look at the other most active counters. HDFC Bank flat, 1681. Infosys flat, about 1% lower actually, ahead of its earnings, down at 1464. ITC, likely to help the index today, 478, 4.3% higher. What is in the green? ICICI Bank and SBI, as well as IndusInd Bank. These three should be helping the bank Nifty, which has opened flat again at 45,710. That's the broad market on the Nifty. Let's look at FNO stocks. L&T Finance taking it away, 3% higher, 138. Fantastic earnings, and that's being rewarded by the market. Let's look at the other gainers on L&T. Apart from that, Federal Bank, something that Vineet likes, 1.2% higher, 137.45. Indian Hotels, a percent higher, 404. The market flat on weekly expiry day, apart from the index, which is Nifty and Bank Nifty. Let's look at other indices that might be showing some momentum. It's a nice sea of green across the broader space. Nifty 500 is actually flat, but the advanced decline ratio is 3:2. The top gaining index is Nifty Pharma, half a percent higher, 14,150. The small cap and the mid cap indices are consolidating near record highs, up in the green, and that's the position so far. On the broader space, all I see is PSU banks clicking in the green. Sakshi, what have you seen?
The pharma stocks, we were discussing Dr. Reddy's up in trade, Divi's Laboratories up in trade, Sun Pharma also showing momentum in the early action right there. So the pharma stocks picking up, 0.8% uptick for the Divi's Laboratories stock, 1.2% uptick for Dr. Reddy's right here. Sun Pharma is up by half odd percent. Those are the stocks one should watch out for. From the NBFC space, Bajaj Twins, Bajaj Finserv, Bajaj Finance all up in trade. Canfin Homes is seeing a decline of half odd percent. Shree Cement, after that observation from Ministry of Corporate Affairs, down by 2.3 odd percent right there. But, of course, the banking majors, Federal Bank, ICICI, IndusInd Bank, all up in the green, definitely supporting the banking indices. But we are seeing now Reliance Industries at 2720. Down by 4.23%. We'll constantly keep revisiting this stock. From the auto ancillary pack, Amara Raja is down in trade. So those are the stocks that one should keep an eye out on. The advanced decline ratio is still positive, 1750 versus 617 right now. We also have our guest with us today. Milin Vasudev joins in, Senior Technical Research Analyst at Arihant Capital Markets. Welcome, sir, and thank you so much for taking the time out for this discussion. Your thoughts on the market opening right now, and what are you recommending investors to do?
Good morning. If you see, Nifty has opened on a flat note today, though it is an expiry. And yesterday in the evening, we saw a good recovery in the latter half of the this session. Now, clearly, Nifty has got good support at around 19,000. On an intraday basis, it has got good support at 19,780 levels. Now, it can come down to that level, but yes, we are expecting some turnaround from here, and we expect Nifty to touch higher levels. But going forward, some consolidation can take place over here. but we are working out with the higher targets of say somewhere around 20,300 levels.
Mileen, welcome to the show. Any picks that you can share with us and our viewers at these levels? What looks good to you on the charts?
Just now you were talking about the banking sector. Yes, PSU banks are especially doing good. I'm liking Canara Bank. We have yesterday only recommended to our clients. It is currently trading at 341 levels, but we expect a level of 360 to 365 in couple of weeks' time.
Okay.
Okay, let's do some more price checks in the market. It's running away as far as Polycab is concerned. Third successive day of very strong gains coming in. Now at about 43.54, of course, a record high. That's doing pretty well. And as both our guests, Mileen and Vineet, have said, it's the PSU banking space which is taking the breath away. The top gainer at the moment being Punjab National Bank, up 0.5% at 64.75. Canada is sticking along merrily, and as also UCO Bank, and of course Vineet's favorite today, Bank of Maharashtra. A block deal for 1 crore rupees on Bank of Maharashtra, 33.75. Mileen, coming back to you, what are the two stocks that you feel, apart from, of course, banks and Reliance Industries, that are likely to motivate the Nifty to move towards 20,000 or even higher?
Definitely, if you see HDFC Bank, Reliance, they are on a good uptrend, and definitely these are the high weightage stocks on Nifty, and they are like if they are going to perform, then yes, Nifty is likely to test the higher levels, and we still expect that Reliance and HDFC Bank can gain up to some 7 to 8% from current levels.
Okay. Newgen Software, that's seen a bump up about 4.4%. We were discussing post the earnings, and we've been seeing brokerage houses positive take. Jeffries gave a buy rating right here, 860. The stock is up by 4.4% right now. Is this a stock that you are watching, or do you track, Mileen?
Yes, yesterday results were out of Nugent's, and yesterday we saw a good price action with higher volume. But in the latter half of the session, it came a little bit on the lower side. But yes, one can hold this stock with a stop loss of say 710. On the higher side, we could see the levels of say somewhere around 790 and 825 in couple of weeks.
Okay, Sakshi, let's come back to some market pricing for us. The Nifty slipping in trade now, down 33.4 at 19,800. It's the weekly expiry trade that's coming in front of us. Let's look at within the FNO space, what are the constituents that are driving the Nifty lower. Of course, the heavyweight Infosys, uh, it's down about 1.2% at the moment at 1474, and it's contributing negative 23 points to the Nifty. LTIM again coming under stress, contributing 3 points lower to the Nifty. It's the IT space. If we can show the IT index in front of us, down about 230 points at 31,122. Remember, apart from the expiry, which is heavy upon us, it's the Infosys earnings that are expected, and we've seen a very sharp rally on the stock. So a bit of profit booking ahead of the event, and that's contributing a bit negatively to the stock. Let's look at the other counters on the index that are not doing pretty well at the moment. So we have weakness in the entire auto pack. Bajaj Auto, M&M, Tata Motors, Eicher, and Hero Motors down between 4.3 to 4.4% on the Nifty. Within the banking sector, Kotak, SBI, HDFC, and Axis are in the red for the Nifty, and that's pulling down. the index fairly substantially. The entire FMCG pack is in the red. Lever earnings today 4.4% lower. So overall, the picture is the advanced decline on the Nifty in the ratio of 15 is to 35. So 1 is to 3. Remember, it's the weekly expiry, nothing to be worried about. We've had 5 days of fantastic gains. The market is taking back some and giving an opportunity to get back for traders on the long side. It's not as if that the entire market is weak. Remember, we had discussed two or three stocks on the long side, one being NTPC, the other being PNB, and of course, L&T Technology Services. All three of them, Sakshi, in good faith and
Yeah.
in nice green color. Sakshi.
Right. Another space that I was watching out for is the defense pack. Now, remember, we'd been discussing about shares of Premier Explosive. They're up again today, about 4 odd percent. Remember, yesterday they were blocked at 10% upper circuit on the Q1 FY24 profit, jumping over six-fold right there. So, along with Premier Explosives, let's also look at, so 6.5% right now at 948 currently. Let's also look at the other stocks like HAL, BEL, Paras Defense at this point in time, or Mazagon Dock. We've been constantly revisiting these stocks and they've had a fantastic run. HL is slightly down in trade right now. Milind, do you track these defense pack stocks? Anything that even technically looks strong to you even now despite the recent run up?
See, if you see in the defense stocks, one stock which is clearly outperforming is HAL. Now it is clearly maintaining a higher top, higher bottom formation on the daily as well as on the weekly chart. Now this stock has got good support at around, say, somewhere around 3800, 3750 levels. One can initiate a long in this. Yes, on the higher side, we could expect 3950, 4050 levels in nearly 3 4 days.
Sakshi, I think two stocks that we should own,
Hmm.
and they were discussed on BTTV uh, uh, before pre-open started. Let's get Vineet in. Bank of Maharashtra, ladies and gentlemen, the top winner in the PSU banking space, 3380. And Milind had pointed, I'm so sorry, Vineet had pointed this out before the markets opened. Lots of block deals happening. And as Vineet had said, a fantastic, stupendous quarter behind us, and that's the reason. Vineet, congratulations. Great stock, great rally, and the best is about to come. I'm not sure whether Vineet can hear us, but we'll just, yes,
Yeah,
Vineet,
tell me. Sorry, I think I had a
yes,
little
I
bit
was
of
just saying, I was just congratulating you on that fantastic call that you gave before markets open. Very, very strong traction coming in. And such is the grace of the bull market. His second pick, L&T Foods, up at 158. Again, a fresh high. The rally continues unabated for the sixth day in a row. And the stock at a record high. Both these stocks, L&T Foods and Bank of Maharashtra, Vineet's picks were discussed before markets opened today. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Vineet also discussed the pharma pack with us, Shell, and Dr. Reddy's, Natco Pharma, Sun Pharma, they're all up by 1% as well. Vineet, the best pharma stock to pick at the current levels?
I think I'll go with Dr. Reddy's for the short run, primarily because this year they're going to have a kind of a one-off in terms of earnings spike, and we had looked at this stock around 4500. We are not complaining right now, and I think it can still do another 300 400 rupees on the upside.
Okay. Okay.
Wow. So the all-time high, Sakshi, on Dr. Reddy's is somewhere like 56.14, that level we saw in July of 2021. And it's in the same trajectory as of now. So as Vineet said, no complaints at all. This is fairly good. Let me give you a feel and texture of the broader market, Sakshi.
Yeah.
Although we have a red tick on Nifty, Nifty Bank, and Nifty IT, and that's, I believe, totally event-led and weekly expiry rate, the market is pretty good. Look at how the high beta space is moving. If the PCR can show Tejas networks,
Yeah.
fresh record high, these are very, very high beta counters at about 884. The high that we have seen is 893. Apart from that, you've already discussed MASDOC. Again, a record high here, 1787. There is no stopping this counter. And within the smaller space, BHEL at 9620, you have Balrampur Chini at 386, and a host of names that I wouldn't want to discuss on air. But since they are the underlying momentum stocks of this market, they are doing fantastically well. Uh, let's get in Milleen back on the show. Milleen, any view that you would have on Hindustan Aeronautics or maybe Cochin Shipyard? You've mentioned Masdog. Any other view on any defense stock that you like?
Another defense stock is BDL, which is looking good on the charts. Now, currently, even BDL looks poised for a good run on the higher side. It is currently trading at 1169 level. One can keep a stop loss of 1130. And on the higher side, yes, you could expect the levels of 1200 to 1230 in couple of week time.
Okay. Milene, some of the other stocks that are trading at 52-week highs as well. Let me take your view on PNC Infra, for example. 4.7% uptick at 359 currently. 368 is the 52-week high, which touched today. Your thoughts on the stock?
So absolutely, gold standard in terms of infrastructure counters. We are very bullish on the infrastructure space, and particularly the fact that in an election year we have the maximum spend going out. So I believe that this counter should do well, and if all indications that the Modi government is coming back, then this stock is headed for fantastic times in the next 5 years.
All right. Many thanks, Vineet.
Let's go.
Many thanks, Vineet,
Yes,
for being with us on the show and sharing with us all these wonderful insights on the stocks. Many of that also had the momentum before you discussed, and we saw that reaction coming in right after the markets opened today. Many thanks. We'll continue to discuss more about markets going forward also with you. Milene, what about you? From the Infra Pack, anything else that interests you apart from PNC Infra?
In infra pack, yes, actually DLF is one counter which we are liking, and DLF is also maintaining a higher top, higher bottom formation. At present, it is having a very tight consolidation range. But if one can initiate a long over here, keep a stop loss of 400 and say 70 on the higher side, we could expect the levels of say 530 to 560 in a couple of weeks.
Okay, Sakshi, let's do some price checks again in the market. The top gaining index as of now is the Nifty PSU Banking Index, 4552, up 0.7%. And it has 12 stocks in it, Sakshi. All 12 of them are in the green, beginning with, of course, Union Bank, up 3% now, 8760 I see. UCO Bank up 2.5%, 29.15. Bank of Maharashtra today is a great pick that was shared by Vineet, up 1.2%, 33.75. And you know what's interesting, Sakshi? You look at the volume buzzers in this one. Bank of Maharashtra has about 1.81 crore shares already traded. It's 9:33 on the clock, and about a third of the 5-day average is already baked into today's volumes. So that's a fantastic breakout, both in terms of price and action. And like I said, very strong traction coming in on high beta counters. Of course, HDFC AMC is not a high beta counter, but it's in a very, very strong uptrend over the last month or so. 2434, a fresh 52-week high on HDFC MC, monthly and weekly high as well. All high beta is powering up. Policy Bazaar 765 on the charts. PNB now 6510. Natco Pharma. I think it's Vineet's day today. 7340. He mentioned 4 or 5 stocks, and they are doing amazingly well despite a flat to weak broader market. And that's the underlying bull run for you, Sakshi.
Absolutely. Another stock that I want Milind to watch and tell us, how he looks at this stock is Hudson Agro, up 8% right now, 1,055. Like you pointed out, Shail, that, all these stocks are moving away in trade today. Of course, Q1 was also good. Margins expanded right there. Milind, your thoughts here?
Hudson, which one you said? Yeah, Hudson,
Hudson
right?
Agro.
Yeah, Hudson Agri. Yeah, clearly, yes, it is also today it is up by 8%, but one should not enter at current levels because the risk reward ratio is not favorable at present. But yes, on a decline, you can try to initiate a long. On the higher side, yes, you could see some targets of somewhere around, say, 1100, 1150 in couple of months' time.
Shail, anything else that catches your eye?
Yes,
See, there are
let's get Mileen's view on the sugar space.
Yeah.
Mileen, you track the markets fundamentally as well. Balrampur Chini, the largest, most profitable player in the sugar space, is now somewhere like 390. What do you think are the charts telling you? We have seen sugar sort of not play any part in the run up that we've seen in the broader market. Any favorites that you have here, and of course, on Balrampur Chini.
Yeah, you have picked the right stock actually. Barlampur Srini looks very good on the charts. Clearly, fundamentally also it is a good stock. But at current level, yes, one can initiate a long. It is maintaining a higher top, higher bottom formation, and you could expect a gain of nearly say 10% from over here.
Okay, let me get my colleague Arnab Datta right now, on the show as well. He tracks the FMCG space very, very closely, and the leader of the pack, HUL, is likely to report its earnings today. I want to understand from you, Arnab, your thoughts, the way HUL has panned out so far in this quarter, things that have worked in the favor, and the expectations today.
Yes, so HUL is anyway the market leader in the home care and personal care space in the India. It is expected that they are going to do well compared to the previous few quarters, given the kind of margins that they are going to improve because of the lower commodity prices. Because over the 2021 and 2022, the commodity prices were very high, so margins were very low. But this quarter, we are expecting some relief to be seen from the HUL's numbers. And that is why, because the palm oil and soda ash, these products have come down, prices have come down and they have become cheaper. So that are going to benefit HUL. And also, secondly, the thing is that the demand scenario was very poor in the rural market over the last 2 years, which the analysts are now expecting to improve at least in the June quarter, given the better yield that we have seen the previous months in January, February, March.
Right. Thanks a lot, Arnab, for that update. Milind, your thoughts on HUL ahead of earnings? How would you advise investors to really look at the stock?
Clearly, if you see HUL also is trying to pick up some momentum from current levels. Yes, one can hold this stock for a gain of say somewhere around 6 to 7% from current levels.
Okay. And from the FMCG pack as a whole, anything that interests you over HUL?
Not right now. At present, actually, mid cap and small caps are doing rather very spectacular move. We are not concentrating on large cap names.
Okay, understood that. Shail, anything else that catches your eye now?
Well, Sakshi, we have a flat market on the Nifty. Like I said, it's the weekly trade, a weekly expiry trade panning out.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. Uh, 19.8, 28, and it closed at 8:33 yesterday. So nothing there. Bank Nifty is again flat, 72 points either way. It makes no sense.
Hmm.
IT, of course, under intense pressure because of Infosys. It's the top contributor in terms of negative points on the Nifty, uh, down 20 because of Infosys. But it's the other stocks on the index. Let me share some good data with you. Okay. It's ICICI Bank and SBI
Hmm.
which are pulling the Nifty up respectively by 3 and 2.5 points. Like I said, it's Vinit's day, so Dr. Reddy is also helping the index 1.6 points towards that. So these three, four stocks on the Nifty are helping it up, but the overall stress of the weekly expiry, as also the price discovery that we have on Reliance Industries, as also on Geo Financials panning out in front of us. So that's what we are looking at. But there is no let up in the bull market, Sakshi, when you
Yeah.
look at the broader markets. And that's the interesting play. Now, let's look at stocks that have hit fresh highs in the markets. There's so many that is unbelievable. Let me show you the ones which are with lower price tickets. Okay. Now, these are 52-week highs. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, not record highs. They could be 3 or 4 year highs as well. So, Punjab National Bank,
Yeah.
64.70. HCL, 96 rupees, up 1%. EIH Hotels, up 1.26%, 221. Canara Bank, now 342, 1.2% higher. PNB Housing, in sync with the record high on Canfin Housing. PNB Housing is 644. Cochin Shipyard, Tejas Network, Massdoc, Mankind, Polycab, Dr. Reddy's. Sakshi, it's a crisis of plenty.
Absolutely. Milene, anything that interests you from all the names that Shell has just pointed out? Anything that is also on your watch list?
That is, one stock is there on the my list is Tejas Network. Tejas
Okay.
Network has done a very sharp move. Even 4 days back also, saw a good price action with good volume. Even yesterday also, there was a good price action with strong volume. So this clearly indicates that this stock is going to head higher.
Hmm.
And we are working with the targets of somewhere around, say, 1100 in couple of weeks' time.
Okay. Let's look at one stock, Voltam Transformers and Voltas, which we had discussed yesterday also. These are the stocks that have been moving very, very interestingly. Is this a space that you watch, Milene?
Yeah, definitely. The Voltam transformer is a very good stock, and it has given a lateral consolidation breakout on the weekly chart.
Hmm.
So even if one wants to enter this counter, one should enter this counter at current price. Keep a little bit deeper stop loss of say somewhere around 4200. On the higher side, you could expect the targets of say somewhere around 4800 and 5200 levels in couple of months.
Right. Okay, let's also look at some of the other stocks then that are moving in trade right now. So Reliance Industries, keep an eye out on again, 25.75 currently. We're just about 15 minutes away
Yeah,
from
hi.
10 a.m. when the price discovery, will get settled and we will have the normal trading begin on Reliance Industries again. So Milene, your thoughts on Reliance Industries? How should one be really looking at after 10 a.m. the stock?
Clearly, if we are expecting that markets are going to go head higher towards, say, 20,300 levels, before also I have stated. So Reliance, HDFC, ICICI Bank, they need to perform with and that are the stocks which are likely to take the indices on the higher. So one should adopt a
Okay,
buy on decline strategy in all this count.
Okay, Milin, I also wanted to take your view on the infrastructure space. Of course, it's running up fairly sharply. Apart from the frontline counters which are really expensive, ABB, Siemens, L&T, what are the two or three stocks in the mid cap space in infrastructure that look good to you on the charts?
Actually, I have not tracked infrastructure very closely, so I would be unable to comment on.
Okay, not a problem at all. Uh, Within this space today, we have BHEL buzzing at a fresh 52-week high, and of course, all the old favorites for the market: Siemens, ABB, Polycab, all four of them at record highs and doing extremely well. Let's look at other stocks, Sakshi.
Yeah.
Within the pharma space today, it's a better sea of green comparatively. And one stock that's really caught my eye on the open interest ride. Let's
Yeah.
get Millen on Container Corporation. Will
Hmm.
It's ticking very well. Uh, Yesterday's close, yesterday's high was 691 and now at 706. Sakshi, what's really interesting is that it's showing the highest open interest of 15.5.
Okay.
Uh, it was a high beta trade, Milene. Your views on Container Corporation?
Okay, in the cash levels, if you see, it has just started trading well above the 200-day moving average line, which is at
Yes.
somewhere around 682. So this is a very positive sign for a stock. Whenever a
Hmm.
stock starts trading above the 200-day moving average line, that means it is shifting the trend. And clearly, in F&O section, yeah, it is trading at 8, somewhere around 706 level. You can expect a good move in this counter. On the higher side, you could expect the targets of somewhere around 730 to 745 in a couple of weeks time.
Okay.
Okay. Today's move on Container Corporation Sakshi has taken the stock back to 23rd of January. So we
Okay.
have a 7 month high on this stock, and the all time high for this one is 821. So maybe the momentum has started back, and as Milene rightly pointed out, the stock has bounced very
Yeah.
sharply off its 200 DMA, and that's the reason for this bounce, as also the open interest that's up very sharply now 16%.
Right.
Sakshi.
Milene, I'll take your attention to some of the realty counters right there. You know, stocks like Oberoi Realty, for example, stocks like DLF and Sobha, for example. You know, we had the sectoral rotation really play out and the stocks really ran up to 52-week high levels and all-time high levels again. You are seeing some momentum here again. Anything that interests you even now, despite the recent run-up on these stocks?
We are very bullish on Oberoi Realities, and clearly this stock, if you see, even the momentum indicators are positively poised in this counter. Currently, it is trading by up by 1.37 level. If you see the yearly charts now, if you see it is crossing, it is likely to cross the all-time high, and we are expecting this counter is likely to head towards say 1100, 1200 levels in a couple of months.
Okay, Sakshi, let's get our focus back on the Nifty. It's now the first half an hour of trade is over, and the Nifty is slipping further. Nothing to be worried about. It's the weekly expiry trade that is in front of us. I see Nifty 64 points lower at 19,770. What's a bit disturbing, Sakshi, is that the daily pivot has been broken, which was 19,804. No
Okay.
worries. The first support level, which is coming in at 19,750, is I think where the Nifty is headed at the moment.
Okay.
And of course, the stocks that are contributing to the fall of the Nifty are pretty well known to us. Infosys right at the top. Uh, about 32 points negative. The stock is down 1.8%. Again, nothing to be worried about.
Yeah.
It's ahead of its earnings, showing a bit of profit booking, and was the top performing stock. The price discovery on Reliance continues. You should not be worried about the 9% drop that it's showing. It's nothing to be worried about. It's the price discovery for Geo Financials,
Yeah.
and that will be over by 10 a.m. And then only will people breathe a sigh of relief. At the moment, that's how the Nifty is poised. Profit booking on weekly expiry day, 1.9% we had gained over the last five trading sessions, and the Nifty giving back some to the market, all in good shape and all in good hope. Sakshi.
Absolutely. Let's also focus on some of the stocks that will be important to watch out for today ahead of their earnings today. Of course, Infosys and HUL we have discussed. Apart from this, from the banking pack, it will be Union Bank of India that will be reporting its earnings. So one should definitely keep an eye out on that. Apart from this, we also have from the IT pack, you have Quick Heal Technologies, you have Zensar Technologies, Tanla Platforms, Coforge, a whole host of these mid-cap IT names that will be important to watch out for. Persistent Systems, Emphasis, all of them, Quick Heal is down by 0.3%, or Tanla, however, is up by 0.4%. There's a mixed trading action that you're looking at these stocks, but definitely keep some of these stocks in your watch list. United Spirits is going to come out with its earnings. Dalmia Bharat, Havells, ICICI Securities, Nelco. That also comes out with its earnings today. So these will be the important counters to keep on the watch list. Milene, anything that from today's earnings list that is on your watch list as well and you're watching out for the earnings?
You see, Tanla also looks good. It is maintaining a higher top, higher bottom formation. Even the momentum indicators are indicating that the momentum on the upside is likely to continue in this stock. On the higher side, yes, you could expect the levels of, say, somewhere around 1200 in a couple of weeks.
Okay, let's get back to the markets. The trend is now weakening as of now. The advanced decline ratio in the FNO space is only 67 advances versus 120 futures, stock futures that are down. So, about 1 is to 2. And Sakshi, Infosys is now dragging the index much lower. Like I said, the first support is 19,750. We are at 19,764, down about 17 points. And in the Nifty space, there is some issue apart from Infosys. Let's look at other stocks that are pulling it down. Ultratech Cement 1.3% lower, Hero Motors 1.2% lower, HDFC Life 1.1% lower, 654, and Adani Enterprises, yes.
Yeah. Okay, we will get back Shail on the show. Milene, I also wanted to take your attention to the power stocks, NTPC, Power Grid, they have been moving off late. Torrent Power, remarkable moves we have been seeing. Is this a space that you're clearly watching out?
Currently, yes, power sector is one sector which needs to be given good attention. There were many mid-cap counters like HPL Power. If you see from 140, it went to 200 levels. So there are quite good stocks in power sector. But in front line, if you see, yes, NTPC is one of the stock which one can trade with positive bias. On the lower side, it has got a good support at 180 levels. If it holds 180 levels, yes, you could expect the new targets of somewhere around 200 to 210 in NTPC.
Okay. Shail, you were discussing? All right, we'll get back, Shell, but in the meanwhile, let's also look at some of the other stocks from the capital goods space. Milin, how are you looking at stocks like ABB? Of course, remarkable moves right there, 52-week high levels recently, AIA Engineering. All of these counters have really moved up pretty sharply. Your thoughts here?
You see, ABB and AI engineering have been moving up very sharply. And at present, if you see that there is no proper risk to reward ratio in this stock, so one should not enter at such prices. Wait for some decline in this stock and then only enter. That is my view.
Sure.
Okay, now that we are in the final leg of the show, let's look at some other stocks on the high beta side, which are trading in the green. Although the broader market advance decline ratio is now favoring bears. Policy Bazaar. Let's get this stock on the screen. We know it also in the form of Infotech 770 that we see on the charts. Let's get Milleen on Policy Bazaar. Mr. Vasudev, we've seen a very strong rally coming into all these new tech counters, Policy Bazaar, then Paytm, and of course Nika. Would you want to stick your neck out on Policy Bazaar 772?
Definitely, yes, it has got a higher relative strength. So I would stick my neck out and even buy Policy Bazaar at current levels. It has got good support at around, say, somewhere around 750 levels. I don't expect that this level could be easily broken. On the higher side, yes, we could work out with the targets of, say, somewhere around 800 and 830 levels in couple of months' time.
Okay. Milena, how are you looking at the auto counters and especially stocks like Tata Motors, for example? They've been in the news flow with the kind of plant launch that they're doing in UK, first gigafactory outside of India. The stock has had a great run up. Of course, things working for it on the JLR front as well. There is a bullish setup. Your thoughts?
See, if you see Tata Motor on the weekly chart, it looks little bit extended on the weekly as well as on the daily chart. Yes, but if one is an aggressive trader over here, then one can initiate a long with a say some stop loss of somewhere around 600. On the higher side, yes, you could see the levels of say 600 and 660, 690 levels. So there one needs to review the counter again.
Okay. Let's look at some of the most active stocks right now on the BSE. It's ITC, Infosys, SBI. Those are the stocks that are moving in trade. We're also looking at where there are top gainers on the indexes, Sun Pharma, SBI, and Tata Steel again. Apart from this, let's look at some of the other stocks that are moving in trend in terms of the intraday large deals where they are happening. So Polycab up a ninth day in a row again. Union Bank of India, Kotak Mahindra Bank. These are the counters that are moving in trade right now. Anything that interests you in the banking space from Union Bank, Kotak Mahindra Bank kind of space where they are seeing some large trades coming in?
Yeah, in the opening of the show only, I said that I'm liking Canara Bank. If you see Canara
Canara
Bank,
Bank.
it is a beautiful chart. On the weekly chart also, the momentum indicators are positively poised, and I expect that levels are even you could get a 10-15% rise from current levels.
Yeah.
Okay. Sakshi, we'll again come back to the Nifty. So the first support level of 19,756 has been tested by the index, and that's the low that you see. It's bouncing off from there at 19,777, still down 56 points. That's how the Nifty is faring on weekly expiry day. And let me also see the chart of Bank Nifty. Okay, it's 45,711, down 40, up 41 points. And we've tested the first call strike at 45,700. The R1 has also been tested, which is 45,780. So a narrow trading band for both the indices Nifty and Bank Nifty on weekly expiry day.
Yeah.
We've seen the Nifty IT index being under sustained profit booking, but nothing to be worried about there because we've seen a very sharp rally coming in. The IT index is the top loser today, down 1%, 31,021. Let's look at how uh, the Nifty is faring. We've seen Reliance settle down today
Yeah.
at about 25.80 versus a closing price of 28.40. So the price discovery on Geo Financials ideally should be at 260 rupees per share, but then let's wait for people to confirm that. Apart from that, Infosys has been the main dragger on the Nifty today,
Yeah.
ahead of its earnings, and that's how it is, down 1.8%. Dr. Reddy is the top gainer on the Nifty, up 1.2, fresh 52-week high. State Bank of India, Hindalco, and Sun Pharma helping the index weekly expiry day, Sakshi.
Yeah.
And the entire FNO space, the entire high beta space up in the green, whether it's Matchstock, whether it's BDL, whether it's Balrampur Chini, Policy Bazaar, whole host of PSU banks doing the round of the green. And now it's Reliance that's sticking up
Yeah.
and pulling up everybody. So 2608, the price discovery has happened, and that's helping the Nifty immeasurably. We had seen it testing the S1, now a huge bar on the 5 minute chart, and that's only and only because of Reliance Industries. Sakshi.
Absolutely. So that is the stock to watch out for today. Early indications we're getting is around 260 could be the price for Geo Financials, and you're looking at a 2600 kind of level on Reliance Industries right there. Your thoughts, Milene, last word on Reliance Industries, and how should one really approach the stock now that the price discovery has happened?
Yeah, again, I'm reiterating my view that yes, if Nifty has to go up, then the Reliance has to fire up. And yes, from current levels also, we expect a good move from here. Currently trading at 2615 level, but yes, a 2700, 2800 could be possible in this round.
Okay, well, many thanks, Milene, for being with us and sharing all your insights with respect to markets and every sector and stock that we've discussed today. Shail, many thanks for sharing some excellent data points with all our viewers, as always, giving us the perspective of how should one be reading the stock prices in today's context versus the kind of movement that we've seen historically on these stocks. Markets still muted, like Shail pointed out, it could be a quiet day ahead of the weekly expiry. So 19,791, 66,939 currently for the Sensex, 148 points of a decline. But stocks to watch clearly: Reliance Industries, Infosys, HAOL. Keep these counters in mind and in your watch list as well. Banks are for sure, and the PSU banks leading the momentum as we speak. We'll wrap it up at that, but do stay tuned on to Business Today TV to catch all the updates from the world of business and stock markets continuously. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. If you have any questions that you'd like to ask the experts on our channel, you can mention them on the comment section below. And don't forget to engage with us on our social media platforms as well. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Until then, many thanks for tuning in.